Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope everyone has had a good week and that you were able to get one thing accomplished. It doesn't matter how big or how small, a win is a win, right? So anyway, my granddaughter finally arrived on Friday. 10 days late, 8 pounds and 3 ounces. So she is adorable, of course. Um, they're still in the hospital doing tests. They were supposed to go home today, I think, but my son said that they might keep them another day. My daughter-in-law had a very difficult delivery. They had to induce her, and it was like a 48-hour induction. But baby and mom are doing well, and if they don't make it home tonight, they'll be going home tomorrow. So happy about that. Another personal note, I told my mother that I was in therapy for hoarding. My mother is a hoarder also, and she has yet to admit it. And unfortunately, my youngest sister lives with her, and my sister is an incredible hoarder. So the two of them together is not good. I have been trying to get my mother to de-stash for quite some years now. I know that her hoarding is due to trauma. She hoards Christmas items, decorations, anything to do with Christmas. My grandfather died the day after Christmas. I can remember I was still in high school at the time, and because she was never a hoarder before then. My father was, but my mother never was. She was the homemaker, raising 4 kids, and the house was always clean, always picked up. So I know that this is due to my grandfather's death. My mother was the youngest of 4 kids, and she was very close to her parents. And everything started, and it's all about Christmas. She keeps her Christmas stuff up year round because she says she likes looking at it, and that's fine. If it brings her joy, she's 84 years old. She can do whatever she wants, right? But it's to the point where she has an artificial tree, and her tree has been up for 10 years now. And the last time I was over there, I pointed out to her, Mom, you have cobwebs and dust hanging off your tree. I don't care. I like my tree as it is. When you turn the lights on, you don't notice. Whatever. Okay, so for the past couple years, I have been trying to get my mother to donate some of her Christmas items to the church Christmas craft fair because I'm the chairman, and she has more than enough. She has a 3-season porch off her living room, off the back of her house, and that is loaded with Christmas items. And she also has a room in the basement, sort of like my bag room, that has that's loaded with Christmas items too, but she can't get to those because my sister has taken over the rest of the basement. That basement is worse than my basement. And so that's how come she started collecting or hoarding all of her Christmas stuff onto the back porch. So the past couple years, I've asked my mother, would you consider donating some of your Christmas items to the Christmas fair? We can use them. And, her reaction is always, nope, I need my Christmas stuff. I'm going to, when I die, I'll pass it along to, you kids and the grandchildren. And I keep telling her, Mom, we all have our own houses. We all have our own Christmas stuff. What do you think we're going to do with your Christmas stuff? We don't need it and we don't want it. And my other sister, who is OCD to the point that, you could eat off her floors, she is the one member of the family who is not a hoarder. She is the extreme opposite. So her house is spotless. And, she just says to my mother, Mom, when you die, we're just getting a dumpster and all your Christmas stuff is going in the trash. So either make a decision now what you want to do with it, or else it's going to end up, in a landfill. She's very blunt. But, you can't say anything to her. Just by you telling her that she needs to get rid of her stuff is not going to make her get rid of her stuff, right? So anyway, every year she'll say to me, oh yeah, I'll look through it, I'll get you something, and she never does. So this year I asked her in October. I gave her 2 months in advance, and her reply to me was, yes, this year I will get a box together for you. Ooh, that sounded good. That sounded like progress. Maybe she would actually do it. The first week in November, I got a text from her. Yeah, I'm not going to get around to putting that box together for you, so maybe next year. So I waited a moment before I texted her back, and I said, Mom, why can't you get me a box this year? You told me that you would do it, so why are you backing out? And then she replied back to me and said, well, there's too much stuff in the way. I can't get to, what I want to get to out on the back porch, and, we'll just save it for next year. So I texted her back and said, Mom, I'll be happy to come over. I will move things out of the way for you. I will bring boxes into the living room for you so you can go through them. I won't touch anything that you don't want me to touch. I will not throw anything away. You can make the decision. I'll just move everything and bring what you want into the living room for you. Then she texts me back and says, no, I don't want you to do that. I just don't have time to go through it. And now I'm starting to get a little aggravated because I can see that she just keeps making up excuses. So I replied back and I said, what do you mean you don't have time? You have 5 weeks to do this. I told you last month and you still have 5 weeks left. So why do you not have time? Then she didn't text me back, so I knew she was done. She was done with the conversation. So, all right, we'll leave it alone. I went over there last week and I asked her, I said, Mom, I know that you don't have time to go through your stuff. I said, but would you be willing to make me some bows? Because she has the fancy bow ribbon, the wire ribbon, and she makes beautiful bows. And we need bows for the wreaths and we need bows for the gift baskets. And I know that her box of ribbon is right there in the front of the pile. So it's easy for her to grab. She has tons of it in that box. So I figured, well, maybe I can get her to go through her ribbon and make me some bows. So she said, yeah, she goes, I can do that. I'll make you some bows and that can be my contribution to the fair. Yay. Progress, right? Well, what she ended up doing was going to Hobby Lobby, buying a whole bunch of ribbon, and proceeded to start making bows. So I went back, a couple days later, and I see her making the bows, and she starts telling me, oh yeah, well, Hobby Lobby, and I got this ribbon, and this ribbon's pretty, and blah, blah, blah. And all I could think of in the back of my mind was, wow, you defeated the whole purpose, right? I wanted her to use some of her craft ribbon, but she couldn't even do that. She had to go buy new craft ribbon and not use hers. And I asked her why she did that. And she's like, well, I may need that craft ribbon to make my own bows. And I'm thinking, no, you don't. You're not going to make any bows. You've made all the bows that you want to for your house. But I couldn't say anything, right? And that's when I told her that, look, Mom, I'm going to therapy for hoarding, and our whole family is a bunch of hoarders going all the way back to my great-grandparents. And I didn't say anything about her. I made it all about me and what I was going through and how I had to come to the realization that I have too much stuff in my house and that my kids don't want my stuff when I go. And I was making a concerted effort to start going through stuff and getting rid of stuff, but that I was seeing a therapist to help me with it. You know, hoping that maybe it'll spark something in her. And then I brought up the subject of needing a dump pass. My town does not have a dump, but her town does. So I asked her, you know, Mom, can we go to the dump and get a pass, a permit, so that I can bring stuff over to the dump, but you need to come with me because obviously it needs to be, you know, listed under your address and whatnot. And she says, well, let me call them to find out what time, you know, the office is open to get the permit. So she called, and while she was on the phone with the lady, she said to her, well, my daughter's here and we need to get a dump permit because my kids keep telling me I need to clean out my house. Now, this is my mother saying this about herself. And the lady on the other line of the phone's like, oh, yes, we all need to do that, don't we? You know, blah, blah, blah. So that surprised me. That really surprised me that my mother said that. So maybe I did plant a little bug in her brain, you know, that she can think about. And she must have told my sister that lives there, my youngest sister, because she called me and asked if she could stop by. And my sister probably has not been in my house in at least 12 years. My father died 11 years ago, and it was probably before he died the last time that she was over here. And it's not that I don't see my sister, because, you know, we see each other on the holidays, but we just never meet here. So she came over and, you know, she said that she wanted to help me clean. Now, that I found interesting because my sister is a hoarder, and I don't know how that dynamic would work, a hoarder helping a hoarder. Granted, her hoarding style is way different than mine, but it's the same mentality, right? So I'm gonna have to talk to my therapist, run that by my therapist and see what she thinks about that. Or maybe I should just ask my sister to come over and see what happens. You know, maybe she is able to talk me into throwing away some things that she wouldn't normally keep. Or maybe I'll say, oh no, I need to keep that. And she'll be like, oh yeah, I think that you should. I don't know. But she didn't ask me about my therapy, which I don't know if she had wanted to, but didn't know how to bring it up. But anyway, I think that that's a good thing that she came over. Another person I've allowed in my house, right? But like I said, my sister's basement is 10 times worse than mine is, so I knew I wasn't going to get any judgment from her. But, so we'll see what happens with that. This week's video is going to be a therapy and homework video. Last week's video was a cleaning video. But I really won't have a lot to discuss on homework and therapy this week since I did not have a session this past Friday due to the Thanksgiving holiday. And speaking of last week's video, did anyone see that AI added an AI generated video summary at the bottom of that? I was looking at it and I'm like, I didn't add a video summary to my video. And then I saw it said AI generated. Like, really? Wow. AI is everywhere, I guess. Almost like that old cartoon. I'm going to date myself here. You remember the little French skunk? I can't remember the name of the cartoon, but he would always say, savoir-faire is everywhere. That's what I think of AI. Anyway, I digress. Okay. I do have something exciting to share with you, and I will ask for your input later on. But getting back to the videos, I think that this is the format that I will use going forward, where one week will be a cleaning video and the next week will be a therapy and homework video. And that way you're getting more content. My first cleaning video was only 11 minutes and the last cleaning video was 29 minutes. And that's after filming the videos. And believe me, I had over an hour, and between an hour and an hour and a half of footage, but then you have to cut out all the dead spots and you have to edit it and then splice it all together, and then you speed up the video and then you get the end result and it's reduced greatly. So I would rather have content for you guys rather than just be putting out a video every week, if that makes sense. So, and to be honest, those cleaning videos take me a long time to edit because I am not good at it yet, and I am expecting to get better, but practice makes perfect, right? So I think that I'm just going to stick to this format, and this way you get 2 weeks of homework and therapy and then 2 weeks of cleaning, and we'll see how that goes. But I think that'll be a good format and give a lot of content that hopefully you'll find useful. So let's start with questions and answers from the last video. So many comments about the flooring. Thank you. It's not hard to do, really. It's not. Anyone can do it, I'm sure. I'm currently at the 3/4 mark, so hopefully I can get it done this week. It depends. I know that I'm going to be over at church all week long, every single day, leading up to the Christmas fair. So we'll see how much I get done. But I can see the end in sight. I spoke to one of my nephews this week, and he said that he will grab his brother and they will come over hopefully sometime next week, the following week, and be able to bring the furniture in from the pod. So look at that. 2 more people I will be allowing into my house, right? I think I'm at the point where either I'm indifferent to the people coming into my house, or I just have the attitude, yeah, whatever. You know, it is what it is. I'm working on it. It's getting better, and we'll move forward from here. I don't know which one it is. I'll have to determine that and talk to my therapist about it. But anyway, that's good though, right? It's good. I'm not feeling, I mean, obviously they're not going to be going down into the basement, and they're not going to be going upstairs. They're just coming in through the front door with the furniture from the pod and putting it in the living room. I can deal with that. Even if I have to spruce up the front hallway a little bit, that's fine. But, you know, my nephews are, I don't know, in their 20s. I really don't think they care about how the house looks. So yeah, I'll be happy to get that done and get the furniture in here. Let's see. Oh, and the comments about taking care of my back. I have an issue. I have a bad knee, so it's hard for me to kneel. And I fell off a ladder back in 1997, again, doing some type of DIY project. And I fell off a 12-foot ladder, and I broke my leg in 3 places. And my knee like shot up from my shin bone right up past my femur, and they had to put it, I have 2 plates in there. Anyway, at some point I do need a knee replacement, and it's hard for me to kneel. So I have been used to bending, And to be honest, my back, I like bending. It makes my back feel good to stretch it. So I think that over the years I've probably built up those core muscles. So believe me, it doesn't bother me. It does not bother me. Let's see. Someone asked me if my therapist asked me to keep track or discuss what I am able to get rid of. I guess maybe analyzing why it is easy for me to get rid of some things and not the other versus things that are difficult to let go of. The answer to that is no, that she has never asked me about that. And I keep a list of the things that have left the house, and I'm guessing that as she reviews the list, maybe if she saw something on there, she might ask me how it felt to get rid of that item. But so far, no, she has not asked me. It's more of a concern right now for her to determine why I can't get rid of something. And I haven't tackled the basement, and that's going to be my hardest project. But I do know that I will bring up the silver tray to her and how that little voice in my brain started chirping, oh, you need to keep that. You may have a use for that someday. There's nothing wrong with that tray. It's still perfectly good. And to be honest, after I snapped it and broke it and threw it away, I don't know if I had mentioned this in the last video, but part of me was kicking myself because I was thinking, oh, I could have brought that to the Christmas fair to use for the bake sale, for the bake table, right? We could have put items on that. And then I had to tell myself, no, we will have plenty of trays for the bake table. But it's hard. It's hard. We come up with these excuses, right? I will also have to talk to her about the junk drawer and how I cleaned it, but it did overwhelm me to the point or to the extent that I had to walk away and then come back the next day because I had to let my brain process and determine how I was going to tackle this drawer and what I was going to do, what was staying, what was going, and how I was going to organize everything that was going back into that drawer. So I will discuss those two things with her when I talk to her this Friday. A few of you asked if I've taken the bags of clothing to the donation center yet. No, I haven't. And believe me, and it's not because I have gone back and looked through them. They're still tied. They're still tied. I just haven't gotten them down to the car to take them. And I did mean to take them on Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and I just never did. Someone also asked me the question, if your son said that he has already gone through his drawers, then why do you have those 3 or 4 shirts that are hanging off the end of the footboard of the bed? Good point. Good point and good question. And you're right. As soon as I read that comment, I said, you're right. He said that he went through his stuff. So I took those 4 shirts and those went into a bag. I'm not even going to ask him about them. So, so many nice comments about the spindle bed. That came from my grandmother's house, and that was in the guest bedroom that I used to sleep in when I was a kid. And that bed, it's so funny because that bed had the really old-fashioned springs, like not the nice box spring mattress that you get nowadays. It was a spring coil underlayment mattress, and then the mattress went on top of it. And so these springs were so old that there were certain areas of the bed when you sat on it, and those springs literally went boing, boing. You would hear these boing sounds. And it was so funny. And I loved that bed. It was so comfortable. And at some point, my cousin got a brand new box spring and mattress, threw out the old ones that had been there forever and ever. I mean, since my mother was a kid, right? And I think that he just didn't like the noise. That was the bed that was in one of the guest rooms, so everybody slept on that bed. And I think that he finally just had enough and bought a brand new mattress and box spring. But when my grandmother passed away, I got to have that bed. And I am so happy that I did. I love that bed. And that's not the bed that my son had growing up. He just had a twin bed. So I'm very happy that I ended up with that bed. And I will always treasure it because it came from my grandmother's house. So, as usual, thank you for all the comments and the questions. And I love reading through all the comments because I see all of you interacting with each other and making suggestions and replying to other people's comments, with organizational ideas, or yes, I'm in the same situation that you are, what did you do to handle this? And I love it. I firmly believe, and I continue to say this, that we have such a great community here, and I am so appreciative of all of you. So kudos. So as I mentioned earlier, I did not have a therapy session this week. My previous week's assignment was to clean or organize a cupboard or a drawer. And at my last session, I had told my therapist, well, I'll just continue to do that for this past week. And for this week coming up, since I didn't have a session on Friday with a new assignment. So I'm just going to continue. I told her that I would just continue with my kitchen because I had started with the fridge, and then I did the cupboard and the junk drawer. There is another cupboard that is next to the fridge, but I will show that to you in the next cleaning video. I did not touch that because, again, I opened it up, looked at it, and just closed the door. Like, I can't deal with this cupboard right now. There are a couple of wine glasses in there that I'm going to pull out and wash, and I'm going to put together a wine basket, a wine gift basket for the Christmas fair. So I will have 4 wine glasses leaving the house. But that's it for that section of the kitchen. So the next cupboard I'm going to tackle is my mug cabinet. I have a little coffee station or coffee area next to my stove, and the cabinet above that is filled with coffee mugs. And I'm expecting that cupboard to have some emotional attachment to it. And that's because our family, we're all coffee drinkers. My father, myself, my kids, and every time that we went someplace, we would get a coffee mug. So, as kind of like a remembrance, or just a memento of the trip. So I know that there are coffee mugs up there from, England and Niagara Falls, and other mugs that my father may have given me or my kids gave me. There are coffee mugs that I took from my grandmother's house. My grandmother was a big tea drinker, and she had her favorites. So I have a couple of those. So we'll see how it goes cleaning out that cabinet. Obviously, I'm the only one here in the house. I don't need 10 million coffee mugs. But we'll see what I'm able to donate and what I hold on to. I was telling my daughter that I'm going to be going through all the kitchen cabinets and the drawers. And she said that she wished that she was here to go through my Tupperware cabinet. Now, when she was smaller, that was her job, to clean out the Tupperware cupboard. And yes, I am a Tupperware hoarder. I admit it. I had to laugh because I was watching one of the videos from Midwest Magic Cleaning, and Mac was talking about the things that he finds in common with all the hoarding houses that he does. And one of them is Tupperware. And not only Tupperware, but the plastic butter containers, or the Crocs, or sour cream, any plastic container, right? And guilty as charged. And why? I don't know. I know that in the back, and my aunt is the same way. Every time I go to my aunt's house for dinner, she always sends me home with leftovers. And they come home in plastic containers that she has saved, and I wash them out when I'm done, and I bring them back to her house. And that's just the way that we are, right? You don't want to send somebody home with your Tupperware in case it doesn't come back. So you send them home with a different plastic container, knowing that if it doesn't come back, it's fine. It can be thrown away. So when I was cleaning up after Thanksgiving, I just had a little Thanksgiving dinner here for myself and the dogs. And I was going through my Tupperware cupboard, and I had 2 butter containers, and one of them I used and the other one I did throw in the trash. So a little bit of progress there, right? I threw one away. I probably should have just thrown both of them away. So it'll be interesting when I get to my Tupperware cupboard. If my daughter was here to do it, I think I would have to give her free rein to clean that cupboard, because she would throw all those plastic containers away. And I think I would have to just refrain myself from pulling them back out of the trash. You know, just like with the plastic, with that silver tray, I will have to find some way to, I don't know, cut them up or destroy them so that I do not pull them out of the trash again, because I don't need them. I don't need them. I have plenty of Tupperware, and believe me, I'm going to get rid of some of the Tupperware too. I have Tupperware in boxes that I've never used, that I've never opened, and they've been in that cabinet forever. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Okay, I have been working on the flooring every day, although I will admit that today I only did 2 pieces. I don't know what is going on, but I still am in that lack of motivation funk. I have not even been into my son's old room this week to do anything. And even the flooring, I had to basically tell myself to get up off my butt and get in there to do it. So I don't know. I really don't know what's going on. Sorry, something popped up on my phone. So I'm definitely going to have to talk to my therapist about this. I'm supposed to be doing something for 20 minutes a day, and that's what I was supposed to be doing in my son's room. So I don't know if it's depression. I don't know if it's just, if I just need to add some vitamin D to my diet. I hate the days getting dark early. I hate the cold weather. Today was such a dreary day out. I swear there are some days I could just stay in bed all day, and that's not normal. So I definitely need to discuss this with her, but I'll get through it, I'm sure. So here is the potential exciting news I wanted to share with you guys. In my therapy session last Friday, not this past Friday, but the Friday before that, I told my therapist about the channel. And she had mixed feelings about it. She could definitely understand why I was doing the channel and why I wanted to share my journey to help other people that are also dealing with this disorder. And she completely understood the accountability aspect of it. But her main concern and what she was worried about is putting my personal life out there on social media. And I can totally understand that. You know, the trolls have found me. I've had to ban, not too many, but maybe 3 or 4 people from the channel. And she is worried about negative comments or, things of that matter, bringing my spirit down, bringing my attitude down. And I can understand that. She's also worried about the issues with me sharing my therapy, even though I clarify that it is my therapy. But with me sharing stuff that we discuss or the homework, she's worried about the wrong people taking the therapy information or the homework information and using it in the wrong way for their own benefit or their purpose. And I can certainly understand that too. So she didn't tell me that she didn't think that I should not be doing this. But she definitely wants me to use caution, and I can understand that. So she thought that maybe I could privatize the channel, but I don't think that would work since not everyone would be able to see it. I think that anyone who is a current subscriber would get the invitation to the channel to be part of the watch audience. But anyone who's not would need to be sent an invitation, and that would be impossible to do since how would I know who's out there that would be wanting to see the channel? I mean, I know that my channel pops up in the YouTube algorithm and people can choose whether or not they want to watch if it's something that interests them, but I would have no way of knowing that. So I explained that to her because I think that the private channels are set up for like family groups or friend groups that, they're all part of that watch audience and they get the invitation and the videos are only exclusive to those people. And that definitely wouldn't work here. But then I thought about the members link where I can create separate videos for members only. The regular cleaning and homework videos would still be available for everyone, but the videos that have more sensitive or personal issues would only be available to members. And the downside to that is that there's a fee for that. What is it, $4.95 or $4.99? But I know that trolls would not pay that because obviously they don't want to dish money out just to leave negative comments or to troll people. So if we did that, I think that we could also have our own private chat room, if I'm not mistaken. And that way we would be able to chat with one another, get inspiration from one another if we're having a bad day, maybe go in there and someone can lift our spirits, or someone could motivate us. We can share ideas, share suggestions. Hey, have you tried this? Or, oh my gosh, yeah, my parents are hoarders too. What have you done to try to help them? Do you have information that you can share? So I really think that there might be something to this. There's definitely an upside. Also, for these separate videos, my therapist said that she would be happy to provide me with materials, pamphlets, or PowerPoint slides or other information to use. And I would have to create my own slides or graphs because of copyright laws, but I can still use the content in my own format. This is stuff that she hands out to patients anyway, and it would just be more information I'd be sharing with you without using the actual presentation materials that have her therapy group's logo and name and address and stuff on them. Because in no way can it seem like she is promoting this channel, since she is not your therapist, and she would not have permission from her medical group or therapist group, whatever she belongs to, from her group practice, to be on social media providing advice to all of you. And that would violate her terms of service or create professional liability issues. I'm just reading what she had sent to me. So I know that I would be very excited to do this, but I want to hear what your thoughts, and is this something that you would like to see with, especially or set up a group chat room, or are you happy with just the 2 videos? I know that many people just tune in to see the cleaning videos and they're not interested in any of the homework and therapy videos, and that's fine. Or maybe we just give it a shot, and whoever wants to become a member and get the additional information and get more of the, and it's not only going to be my personal information, it'll be more in-depth information regarding hoarding and the other afflictions that are associated with it, and the cost of it, especially my cost of it, and what other therapies may be involved, other outreach groups. A lot of that wouldn't be personal information, but I know that I have more information to share with you that would be personal and probably sensitive data. So anyway, let me know your thoughts. I think that this would be an added advantage to the channel. So we'll see how it goes, right? Anyway, that's all I have for this week. I'm sorry it's really not a lot of information for you, but like I said, I'm just continuing with my homework and therapy from the prior week, and we'll continue with a drawer and a cupboard, see where that takes us, and hopefully you can continue with the project that you're working on. And remember, a win is a win. It doesn't matter how big or small. So take care, and we'll see you again. Bye.